All of the RTP apparel products have tearaway tags. What does this mean for you? Let's find out. Every shirt that RTP apparel sells has a tearaway tag. This tag easily tears off and gives a clean finish to the shirt. Now, you might be wondering why you would want this for your shop. One reason is it allows you to do custom printing of label information for private brands that you can direct the garment directly onto the shirt. A lot of people find that tags on the back of their neck just scratch them and it doesn't feel good. So with the RTP apparel tearaway tags, you can tear the tag out, print the shirt, and have a clean surface to print a custom tag for your customers. This allows for so much opportunity in your direct-to-garment business. You can create custom lines of clothing, custom tags, even print the size of the shirt. Having tearaway tags on the RTP apparel lets you go from this to this. Now, one of the really awesome things with our tearaway tags that a lot of people don't realize is that you can, with your direct-to-garment printer, print not just the tag, but also the front of the shirt at the same time. This way, you get to be able to brand the shirt and print the design on the front in one pass. You don't need to do two separate prints, which is twice the amount of time. You can do it all with one print at one time. One of the other awesome features about the RTP apparel shirts is when you are doing a custom neck tag print, you don't have to worry about pre-treating. So there's no hassle with trying to figure out exactly how to pre-treat the neck and then pre-treat the front. The more steps in this process, there's more opportunity for you to make a mistake and have to scrap the shirt, thus making you start all over again. That costs time and money. We're going to show you how you can do everything in one step with RTP apparel on your direct-to-garment printer. Let's go. Well, the first thing that you need to do so that you can print the tag and the front design of the shirt at the same time is to first remove the tag itself. That's simply done by grabbing the tag and tearing in one direction. This will leave a clean, finished seam with no tag in the shirt. Next, you need to remove all of the moisture from the shirt prior to printing. This is accomplished by laying the shirt on the heat press so that you can press the collar area and the front of the shirt where the image will be printed at the same time. And prior to printing, we need to determine how we're going to be able to do this. As you may know, the seams on the shirts and the collars tend to present a problem when trying to print. Because the collars and seams are raised up slightly above the surface of the shirt, we need to make sure that the platen is low enough that we can clear those collars and seams. However, you get too far away from the print head and your image will blur out. The solution is to use little pieces of plastic or risers that will allow the areas that we want to print to sit up higher and the collars and seams to sit below the surface of the shirt. We've used 1/4-inch ABS plastic for this purpose. The small one we're going to use for the collar print area, and the others we're going to use for the general full image print on the front of the shirt. I've cut the plastic for the image print on our shirt to be the same width as the platen that we're printing on that we have available on our printer. This allows us to fully print the width of the platen if we desire to, and I've done it in 2 separate pieces. This allows us a little more flexibility on the image size that we will be printing. So what we need to do is first position our small label riser piece of plastic in the center of the platen where we will be actually printing our tag. And it's a good idea to secure this with a little bit of tape. You could use double-sided tape on the bottom. We're going to use just standard Scotch tape to secure this in place because it is a temporary platen. We will use a ruler to make sure that our collar print area riser or piece of plastic is dead centered on our platen. Once we have this in location and determined that it is actually on the center of the platen, we can take our tape and actually just secure it down to the platen. This gives us our area for the print on the collar. For the main print area of the shirt, I'm not as concerned about the plastic moving as much. You can tape it down, but you'll see during our process here, it is easy to adjust this plastic to get it into the proper position. What we do need to remember is we have the collar print area. We'll have the actual collar itself and seams that need to sit down in this area of our platen that will be lower than the surface of the shirt that we're printing itself. Next, we need to make sure that everything works as intended. So we will load the shirt, position the shirt so that it is centered like we would normally want it to be, and then make sure that the collar print area is positioned just correctly so that the collar itself will lay lower than the piece of plastic that raises up the print area for the collar and the main section of the shirt. Note that we can shift the plastic for the main print area up towards the collar of the shirt so that we create a trough for the collar to sit down in. This creates the raised area for both the collar print or tag print and the main image area of our shirt. Now, bear in mind that a small shirt and a 2X shirt will have slightly different areas and distances because the neck size and measurements are going to be slightly different than a small versus a double X. This means that we may need to adjust our main image plastic risers down the platen a little bit further so that we can achieve a good print and get the proper spacings. Remember, the tag print itself will remain static, but typically the image location on the shirt as the shirt gets bigger will need to move further down your platen. Having the plastic risers for the main image area not being physically fixed to the platen allows us to move the plastic accordingly for various sized t-shirts. So once we have everything in place, we can then measure from the top of the platen down to about where we would want the image on the main print to start printing. Typically, we would just have that as a set area or distance from the top of the platen. In this case, because we're actually printing the tag at the same time as the main image, it is going to shift slightly, and we need to prepare our artwork accordingly. This means in our graphic software program, we will need to take the measurements of our tag or collar print size and that measurement and set it in relative distance for our main print area, or where the print will begin for the main image. This all has to be adjusted in the computer prior to doing any printing. If you don't get this correct in the graphic prior to printing, your tag may print great, but your main image may be too high or too low on the shirt. In this scenario here, I want our main image to start about 5.5 inches from the top of the platen. So we'll create a guideline in our artwork at the 5.5 mark. In our graphic software package, we're going to recreate our actual platen size on the printer in the computer graphic software. And we will mimic where the tag or collar raised piece of plastic sits, and also how far down the shirt that the top of the image will begin to print. In this case, we know that the top of the image we want to start at about 5.5 inches from the top of the platen. We also know that our tag imprint location or collar print is 2 1/4 inches wide by 1 1/2 inches deep. We will create a little rectangle template in the computer graphics software at the top of the page to mimic exactly where this ABS piece of plastic will be, so we can align our tag print and main image print all in the software prior to ever coming to the DTG printer to print the shirt. Once you understand the basics of being able to print the tag and the front of the shirt at the same time, you will be able to open up doors of opportunity to be able to print custom imprinted apparel for your customers with their own branding in the shirt. There is value in being able to do custom branded clothing for your clients. So this is a great opportunity to upsell your DTG services and be able to make more money in the process. Thank you for watching this episode of Daily DTG. Make sure you subscribe here and click the like button.